Heather, Bob, it's good to be with you. DHS Secretary Mayorkas has been taking a visit along the southwest border, visiting in Yuma today, along with seeing the men and women of CBP, who I can tell you, quite frankly, as someone who's down along that border all the time, are not too happy with some of the policies and things they've been having to deal with. And to give you an example of part of the reason is why is that in the last 3 months, CBP has apprehended 518,360 people along that southwest border. This morning, I've been on the phone, just so you know, talking to a lot of the Border Patrol agents working along the McAllen area. They're seeing a large influx of Nicaraguan citizens coming in, both single males, single females, and family units. Now, here's why that's important. There's some video that's been coming out about single males showing up, being released into the country. And from what we're hearing is that Nicaraguans are allowed to stay in this country through what is known as credible fear. So you're going to see a lot more of that moving in fiscal year 22, based on the numbers that we're seeing down there.
So credible fear, if I'm reading the way this goes, Jason, those are the magic words. So they have a green light at the border, they get through, they express the fear of going back, I guess political fear or whatever it might be, credible fear, then they're given a date to appear, and an overwhelming majority of them will not appear.
There it is. You just outlined exactly how it goes. Even the alien smuggling organization, these folks are going through stash houses on the Mexico side, are making sure and talking to them about what country they're coming from and what they say. It's really something. What they tell CBP agents usually is the truth, why they're really here, where they're going to visit. When they go in before an immigration judge or Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they come up with a whole new plan, and it goes exactly what you're saying. You know, it's a racket, and that's the truth of it. And it's all starting to finally unravel. But the challenge here, Bob, is that as it's more countries around the world, you know, when it's just U.S., Mexico, this is much easier. But what we've seen is a major shift that the world is coming. And so all of these different countries have the ability to claim something different. One country can claim asylum. Others can claim credible fear. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's just where we are.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. Well,
Good
joining us now to discuss a little bit more about this is Ohio Senate candidate Bernie Moreno. Bernie, thank you very much for joining us. You're a legal immigrant from Colombia, and you just finished your second visit to the border, 2 times more than President Biden has been there. Your thoughts on what you were able to see?
He's putting our country in danger. What I saw down there firsthand would absolutely appall average Americans. He's made it so that every city, every county, every state in America is now a border state, because not only is he bringing human trafficking and sex trafficking, he's bringing loads of drugs. One of the Border Patrol agents I was with apprehended one person that had enough fentanyl in their possession to kill half of the population of Ohio.
Yeah, you know, something that's interesting to me, given your background, there's an impression by some people who think all Hispanics in the country are fine with people coming, Latin Americans coming up across our border, but that's not the case. I mean, Americans that have come across legally, legal Americans, even if they have a Hispanic background, it's not like they want everybody to come across, just keep the border open.
No, in fact, I'd argue it's the exact opposite. What I found down there, I ran into a family from Nicaragua, is that Joe Biden's policies has put these people in grave danger. These people are making a journey that's inhumane. It's cruel. The 2 women we ran into had both been sexually assaulted. The men had been stripped and beaten and held at gunpoint. Every possession had been taken from them. They talked about 12-year-old girls being forced to take birth control because they knew they were going to be raped along the way. Small children that were thrown off buses, thrown off trains, fell, died of exhaustion. This is the policies that Joe Biden's putting Hispanics, people of my heritage, through. That is the most inhumane policy this government could possibly have. And the reality is, in my opinion, at this point, Joe Biden should be charged with treason and crimes against humanity.
They want to show this footage, which actually was shown across a lot of news networks yesterday, this large release of single adult male migrants that are being taken from the border and released who knows where in areas across this country. Watch this.
5 single adult men right before your eyes being released at the San Antonio airport. This is an ICE bus. I have it on good authority. I have a source from ICE. This is an ICE release. We saw yesterday in Brownsville, very similar situation. ¿De dónde va? Chicago. Chicago. Okay. Okay. ¿Y familia en Chicago? Okay. ¿Cuántos días o meses caminando? Oh, just autobus. Bueno. Okay. Okay. All right. They're going to Chicago.
So, Bernie, as I said, not really a surprise to folks today because a lot of that was released yesterday. And then we just heard our reporter, Jason Jones, talking about this credible fear thing that these people can say, you know, I'm facing credible fear, and then they're allowed to stay in this country. Your thoughts on where all these individuals are going?
Well, there's about, as you saw the numbers, about 2 million came across the border that were apprehended. About another million were runners. The group that we talked to that were from Nicaragua, coincidentally, ended up in Indianapolis because that's the city that they mentioned. You know, these people are very well briefed. The drug cartels, which are making hundreds of millions of dollars a month, trafficking humans, sex trafficking on top of drugs, tell them exactly what they need to say. They know our policies well, and all that we have to do, all that Border Patrol agents are asking for, not for more resources, not for more money, they just want good policies. And actually, I find it shameful that the Congress has not acted to codify to solve this problem. That's the first thing I'll attack when I'm in the United States Senate in January of next year. We have to solve this problem. No country on earth would allow a border to be assaulted like this. We're about to send troops to Ukraine to protect that border